From FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. Rob Fischer, Lang Whitaker with you here. Bowl week number 2. As the first week of bowls are in the books, we now look at the second week of bowls, which include the college football playoff, Memphis Tigers in the Cotton Bowl. We got all of that to handicap for you here today on the program. We'll also have our picks for the upcoming week. Lance Taylor will join us from WJOX in Birmingham. Vinnie Verno will join us as well, so a jam-packed show for you here. Happy holidays. Hope you all had a great Christmas as we head into the new year. Hello. How are you, Lang?
You got even more extravaganza this week.
It is. It's more extravagant.
Extravagant.
Or
Ganzish.
the college bowl season. Yeah. Not much really to learn.
We learned nothing.
Over the last week.
Nothing.
Didn't really learn much. I guess from the early bowl action, some of the surprises, SMU getting smashed by Florida Atlantic was a little surprising.
Yeah, I expect a little more from SMU.
Yeah, I thought so. Washington crushed Boise State.
Was that Chris Peterson? I think they got the bump for his last game.
That was a bad pick for both of us last week.
I thought Boise State was one of those teams that all season everyone kind of overlooked them a little bit, and
they were kind of playing the whole Peterson story card.
We don't care about it.
Right.
And then I guess they didn't know about it because that story was better than we thought because Washington was fired up. They came out there and blew them up.
Or they had a really good time in Vegas. One of them.
Yeah, that might be part of it too. Like Vinnie Verno told us, he warned us about the Bahama Bowl. Which,
that's right.
Buffalo thought out, and they did.
Yeah, they thought out. The other one was Kent State getting their first ever bowl win. A team that was 2-10 last year, their first winning record since 2012, had to win their last 4 to do it. They win the Frisco Bowl over Utah State, 51-41. Utah State was one of those interesting teams this year. They had a really good schedule and they had a really good record, so thought that they might be pretty good for this matchup. But the Flashes with a big win.
I thought so too. Kent State was trending at the right time. I thought Utah State was another team that we all kind of overlooked a little bit. Maybe this is something we should have learned. Like these West teams. Them, Boise State, maybe we put a little too much stock in them.
Yeah, no kidding. Sean Lewis is the head coach of the Kent State Flashes, and after the game, he got himself a nice green bath.
Coach Lewis, I bet a green smoothie never tasted so good, did it?
I tell you what, I love these boys. After the night that they had, the season that we've had, the legacy they've left, I'll take a green smoothie all the time.
All the time. Take that green smoothie. So congratulations to Sean Lewis and Kent State.
Nobody wants a smoothie. I mean, it's bad enough getting Gatorade poured on you, but a smoothie is
they just pour everything that they had on the sideline for Kent State for that victory. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
But those are things. I think one thing, if you did learn anything, and I tell the story all the time. You know, one of my first years here in Memphis was when Memphis went to the New Orleans Bowl, and they hadn't been to a bowl game in 40 years or 30 years, whatever it was at the time. And I was always one of, these bowl games don't matter. Who cares? It's just the big ones that really matter. But going to that game and seeing the excitement and seeing the Tiger fans all over Bourbon Street and throughout the city of New Orleans, it was pretty special. And it really kind of changed my whole mindset on the thing of this is, these games are special for the kids, for the fans. And, when you see a team like Kent State win their first bowl game ever and what it means to the coach and what it means to those players. You see Liberty, they win their first bowl game ever and what that means to Coach Freeze and his players. I mean, these games do matter. They do matter to the fans. They do matter to the players. They do matter to the coaches. And you feel good ending your season, or in some cases, ending your career with the victory.
They matter in a vacuum. Like it matters only in this little insular world, and maybe, it doesn't matter to me what happens to Kent State. But
the blind statement of these games don't matter, it's just wrong. It's wrong.
Sure, yeah.
Because it matters to a lot of people.
First time I ever came to Memphis was when I was in college, maybe, or right after college, and a buddy's dad was a big Illinois fan. So this guy grew up an Illinois fan, and Illinois played Eastern Carolina, I believe, in the Liberty Bowl. And we drove up from Atlanta just to go to the game to have something to do, and came up for the game. And, there's 35,000, 40,000 people at the game for this game that didn't matter. Like, it was two teams that didn't matter. And So yeah, those games always are something. My dad used to go to the Peach Bowl every year in Atlanta when it was played at Fulton County Stadium, back when it didn't matter.
Right.
But people would go all the time. It's like a tradition and something you do. So it does matter. But does that have an effect on anything? No, I don't even think it really affects recruiting if you win a bowl like the Frisco Bowl. Does that change who you're going to get? I think you're going to get who you're going to get.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, probably. And I think for Memphis, that was something that was disappointing of having that New Orleans Bowl, having D'Angelo Williams, and not taking advantage of it, really, going forward with recruiting. And D'Angelo probably more so the thing to take advantage of than even, going to bowl games at that point. But and the Tigers just, frankly, didn't do it. But now, now when you're reaching like a Cotton Bowl, it makes a little bit of a difference.
That moves the needle, I think, a little bit. I feel bad about this game for Memphis. I don't know why. I just got a bad feeling about it. Like, it's the way things have gone all season long. Like, it feels like everything's going, except for the Temple game, right all season. It's been great. And now it just feels like a trap game to me. I've seen enough of those.
Yeah, we'll get to that one coming up here in a little bit. But speaking of the Peach Bowl, we got the Peach Bowl on Saturday. LSU, number 1 team in the land, number 1 seed in the college football playoff 4. They'll be taking on the number 4 seed Oklahoma. LSU a 13.5-point favorite. The total at 76 for this ball game. And I think of the two games, this is the one that most agree which side to take.
Yeah, I mean, LSU put up 30-plus on Georgia, which is the best defense in the country. So I think, having watched some of those Oklahoma games this season, and I know the defense is better. It's good. They've been good in second halves. They've been bad in first halves. And I think LSU is going to put up 40-something on them. And now it's just a matter of Oklahoma can keep up, because LSU's defense is not fantastic. I think it's going to hit the over easy, but I also think LSU is going to win this thing going away.
Yeah, I'm with you. And because of the feeling of that, the question posed to Ed Orgeron this week was, you've talked about it a little bit, the karma with this team. You win this week in the Peach Bowl, you're playing for the national championship in New Orleans, in your state, in your backyard. Coach Orgeron was asked about that chance to play for the championship in New Orleans.
It doesn't come into play at all in our minds. This is such an important game for us, and we have so much respect for Oklahoma. And just like playing in the SEC, you got to take it one game at a time. And you play great opponents with great talent, with great coaches every week, and you have to prepare. And you have to give it your all. There's no way you can look behind. There's no way you can look ahead. You got to get the most out of each day, and that's what our team is here to do in Atlanta.
I think it's been one of the most impressive things about LSU this year is they haven't had that Clemson, North Carolina game. Yeah. They haven't had that close call. They haven't had the Ohio State down 17 to Wisconsin in the first half and have to come back and win. They haven't had that game where in game they've really had to overcome a lot of adversity.
I mean,
that's how good they've been.
Yeah, it speaks to their preparation and how good Burrow's been. Like, Burrow has not had a bad game, and you keep expecting them to have a game where they're sleeping in the first half or something like that, and every game they just come out and punch them in the face. And I credit Coach O for that, and credit Joe Burrow. They didn't want him at Ohio State. He found a place to play and got better and better and was awesome this year. Yeah,
LSU 9-2-1 against the spread this season. They've won 45 of their last 47 games when they scored 20. Just score 20, and they've won 45 of 47. They've gone over in 10 of their last 15, however, under in 4 of the last 7. 10-2 straight up in their last 12 against top 10 opponents. The only 2 losses coming against Alabama. And talking about scoring, 40 or more points in 4 of their last 6 against top 10 opponents, under in the last one against Georgia where they got 37. So they were just shy of 40, but they're putting up points against top 10 opponents as well. Oklahoma, meanwhile, they've gone under in 4 of their last 5. They're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. 1-3 against the spread this season against top 25 opponents. Lincoln Riley, head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, on who led his team to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to narrow it down with our team. I mean, I think our team's bought in. We were and are very young or new, with a totally new defensive system, new quarterback, new offensive line. There's a lot of new around our program, and for our guys to grow like they have through the year, respond to the different challenges, I think says a lot about the whole team.
These two teams have only played each other twice all time, both in bowl games. LSU won the 2004 Sugar Bowl over Oklahoma, and Oklahoma won the 1950 Sugar Bowl over LSU. So no real head-to-head trends there. 1-1.
He said there's a lot of new around the program. There might be a new coach next year if the Cowboys keep going the way they've been going.
That's right. Yeah,
So.
lose to Washington this week.
Yeah.
Especially if the Giants were to beat Philadelphia. What a disaster. Meanwhile, the Fiesta Bowl, the other national semifinal game. Number 2, Ohio State against number 3, Clemson. The Clemson Tigers, a 2-point favorite in this one. The total at 63.5. This is looked at as, well, maybe the best matchup that we've seen since the college football playoff started.
Maybe. I don't know. I think we're all non-Clemson people. We're all tired of Dabo giving us the nobody believes in us thing. You know, like, we believe in you, man. You guys won the title. Like, we believe. You don't have to give it to us. I just feel like this game, like, Clemson is kind of underwhelmed all season long. It doesn't feel like they've been tested. Even the North Carolina game that they squeaked out thanks to Mac Brown going for 2. Like, I don't know. I feel like this game is set up for Ohio State to get a big win here.
Well, and they look like, if not LSU, the best all-around team in college football. But neither team believes that anyone believes in them. Ryan Day's the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. He was asked if he's disappointed that his team was not the number 1 seed in the playoff.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. Do I feel like should have been the 1 seed? Yeah, but LSU's had an unbelievable season, so I think, what Joe's done and what that team has done, they've done a great job. What Clemson's done, I can see that argument as well. I mean, they're the defending national champs, and they haven't lost a game since and played, great football. So at the end of the day, you got to beat the best to go win the national championship, and certainly Clemson is that. And so what matters at the end of the year is, who's won, not right now. And again, try not to get too far into that. I know we're just proud of what our guys have done, and we've done everything we can up to this point, and now it's time to go play Clemson. So I think at this point you can't look back on those kind of things, and we can go back and forth about it. I know those guys had a hard decision to make. They made it, and we got to move on. But we can't worry about that. Again, if we want to go win the whole thing, we have to be able to play everybody, and so now we get a chance to go play Clemson.
If you can't worry about it, then why are you talking
Quit
about
worrying
it?
about it.
Stop. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Ohio State 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 games, just 1-3 against the spread in the last 4. 30-16 against the number when the line is a +3 to -3. And also 173 against the spread when they take on winning teams. Clemson, meanwhile, 11-2 against the spread away from home on Saturdays. They are 11-2 against the spread. I know that's your favorite, Roser.
On Saturday.
10-2 against the spread on the road on grass. 6-0 against the spread against winning teams in their last 6. They were 10-3 against the spread this season. And they have covered their last 7, and they have covered their last 7 easily. Yeah. Since the North Carolina game, Clemson hasn't been touched on the line.
They haven't played anybody.
No, that's also true. Yeah.
I mean, who have they played? Temple? Yeah. Come on.
Maryland, Rutgers, throw them in there as well. Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney, speaking of being underdogs, his team is actually favored in this game, but being the number 3 seed and being a dog, he still says being a dog in this whole playoff adds a little fuel to the fire.
The Roy bus is fueled up, and for sure, it's been easy this year. I mean, I've really had to really do a whole lot. I've pretty well stated on that. I think on the record on all that stuff. So I think as a coach, you take free fuel anytime you can get it. But we got a good football team. We've earned our opportunity to get here, and I'm proud of them. At this point, it doesn't matter if you're 1, 2, 3, or 4. You're going to play a great team, and the margin for error is very small. And we just wanted to be here and to have that opportunity. So, we are what we are right now. We're a team with a chance, and hopefully we can take advantage of that opportunity.
What bus did he say was fueled?
The Roy bus?
The Roy bus?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Not really sure. But, playing the underdog role. But
it's fueled up.
I mean, heck. And I think a lot of people you're starting to hear a lot of, don't forget about Clemson. I don't think anybody's forgetting about Clemson, but you look at, it's this team, this season, this matchup, and Ohio State this year just looked like the better all-around team.
Ohio State's been blowing people out all season and looked good on defense, and they've been playing tough teams, and Clemson's done none of those things.
Right. So I think Ohio State just looks better.
Yeah.
But it should be a very interesting matchup, to say the least. We'll have our picks on those games coming up here in a little bit, but right now it's always our pleasure to welcome in a very special guest to this program. He goes by the name Vinnie Verno, and he is just making money, printed a lot of money last week.
Turn on my music!
There it is. Yeah, he
gets money.
printed a lot of money last week with that big Buffalo pick.
I told you I own the Bahamas Bowl. I own the Bahamas Bowl.
Yep.
Bloodbath, massacres, mortal locks. And I'm going to guess you want to know the winner.
Yeah.
I picked every single bowl game correct so far.
Nice.
And I'm going to give you one a couple of days after Christmas. The Holiday Bowl. USC is playing against Iowa. Iowa's favored by 2. Hayden Fry died.
R.I.P.
That's an inspired Iowa team. Iowa lost 3 games all year. At Michigan, Penn State, at Wisconsin. 2 of those games, they were -5 on turnovers. This is a good team. This is a good team. Combined lost those games by 14 points. Nathan Stanley, the quarterback at Iowa. He's played in 2 bowl games so far. He played in the Outback Bowl. He won it. He played in the Pinstripe Bowl. He won it.
Okay.
Going 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 as an Iowa starter. Hayden Fry is dead.
R.I.P.
Iowa gave up how many points per game this year? 13!
Wow.
They gave up 13 points per game the entire year. USC cannot score on this team. But this is what's most important with this Holiday Bowl. The biggest bowl of them all. You got Iowa kids. They flip tires. They play tug of war. They eat corn and mashed potatoes. They drink whole milk. They drink whole milk out of the udders. Out of the udders. Meanwhile, you got USC. They're doing hot Pilates. They're eating their tofu. They're getting the butts waxed before the game. Never bet against the Midwest team or against West Coast sissies.
Okay.
Iowa -2. They're doing it for Hayden Fry. They're drinking milk out of the udders. The Holiday Bowl, the biggest bowl. This is the one can't-miss bowl the entire season. I know people are talking about the playoff games. I know people are talking about all the other big bowl games going on. This is the one! I own the Holiday Bowl!
Oh,
How does the Texas jersey fit in?
Ellinger.
Again, last week, Lord Chubba Hubbard threw him off the scent. Everybody watches your show on mute. And we slid in there and took Dart out Buffalo.
Right.
Now we slide in there, they're going to be like, oh, Vinnie Verno's just picking Sam Ehlinger game. I don't need to watch this. That's what Vegas said. So I don't want to move in the line. We're getting Iowa at 2, and it's a gift! Iowa -2. It has nothing to do with Sam Ehlinger. Drinking milk out of the udders.
Cold.
Doing it for dead Hayden Fry. It's the Holiday Bowl. You want to make money or not?
I'd love to make money.
Then make some.
Yep.
Stop being a wimp. Pull your money out of your pocket and make a bet. Sissies.
Vinnie Verno, ladies and gentlemen.
I own the Holiday Bowl.
Owns the Holiday Bowl. Iowa -2 against USC.
The biggest bowl of them all.
The biggest,
Yeah.
biggest of them all. Yes. that
Cold
is
milk
correct.
out of the udder.
We'll take a break here on The Odds Couple. When we come back, Lance Taylor will join us. We'll get his thoughts on some of the action coming up, including the playoff of 4. We'll do that when we return here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
The professional bull riders are bucking at FedEx Forum for the first time in over 6 years. The world's toughest riders and rankest bulls invade Memphis on February 15th for a night of non-stop bone-crushing action and entertainment. Tickets start at $15. Get the best seats now at PBR.com or Ticketmaster.com. Come watch the toughest sport on dirt. Don't miss history at the Professional Bull Riders Memphis Invitational.
WWE returns to Memphis for the first time in 2020 with Friday Night SmackDown. Friday night, January 3rd at FedEx Forum. You'll see Roman Reigns.
You must have not got the memo.
Braun Strowman.
Somebody is going to get these hands.
Sasha Banks. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. The Fiend. Bray
Wyatt, and more. Don't wait. Great seats are available now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
Grizz Nation! Download the all-new, all-access, all-in-one Grizzlies mobile app. Get 3 new experiences with one app, including a fresh Grizzlies look and feel, along with new access to FedEx Forum events and Grind City Media news and notes on all things Grizzlies, football, and more. From podcasts to purchasing tickets, playing Pop-A-Shot, and more, the new Grizzlies app has it all. So don't delay. Upgrade your experience and download the new Grizzlies app today. Available now at the App Store and Google Play.
For the first time in 25 years, the Doobie Brothers, Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Pat Simmons, and John McPhee, 50th Anniversary Tour. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees, the Doobie Brothers, with special guest, Dirty Dozen Brass Band. FedEx Forum, Saturday, October 17th. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Grizz Nation, tip-off of the year at the Grizz Bash, a Grizz-style game night featuring cocktails, games, and more. That's Thursday, January 9th at FedEx Forum. Battle Jaren Jackson Jr. in the ping pong tournament. Sink a putt with John Morant, or just enjoy all the festivities, including live music, great food and drinks, plus participate in other classic games with Grizzlies players like Mario Kart, Cornhole, more. It's game on as you sip and play your way around FedEx Forum. Tickets start at $75, and all the proceeds support the life-saving work at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. For more details, visit Grizzlies.com today. You can play Mario Kart against Lang.
Yeah, let's go.
So that's kind of exciting.
Make sure you learn how to drift.
Yes. Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Odds Couple as we get you set for week 2 of the bowl action, including the college football playoff, which is coming up this weekend. And with the playoff 4 being set, Ed Orgeron's team, he has changed the culture at LSU, which is amazing. And also, has he changed the question of does defense still win championships? Orgeron was asked if that's still the case.
I think team wins championships, obviously, and we have obviously been very, very good on offense. But in order for us to get here, our defense has had to improve throughout the season. I think they have. And in order for us to get to where we want to go, our defense has to play very, very well in the Peach Bowl against an outstanding offense. So we're going to face outstanding offenses. So I think you have to win as a team, but I think your defense has to be very, very strong.
All right. There you go. Win as a team.
Well, that's nice, but I think offense wins championships. If defense wins championships, Georgia would be in the Final Four. They don't have offense. That's why they're not in there. So, I mean, having a little defense is probably helpful, but LSU's offense is why they're where they are.
Yeah, these games are going to have some points.
You better if you want to win.
Yeah. All right, joining us now, it's a pleasure to have him on the program. He joins us each and every week. He's a host of the Roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. He's on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor, and you can check out his picks daily at lanceslock.com. Lance Taylor joins us here on the Odds Couple. Hello, Lance. How are you?
Happy holidays, fellas.
Yeah, man. And we're fired up about the playoff 4 this week, but I think Lang's right too. This day and age of college football, you better be able to score if you want to win.
Yeah, look, and I still think Dave Aranda's got a pretty good defense. So it's not like they're not playing defense at all, but they are outscoring people. And you look at Oklahoma, and they've tried to improve their defense under Lincoln Riley, and it is improved statistically. But to me, when you look at the 3 Lincoln Riley teams, we start with the Baker Mayfield team to the Kyler Murray team to the Jalen Hurts team. This is by far, to me, the worst of the 3, and now they're going against a complete juggernaut with this LSU offense and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and this one seems to be the one that everyone agrees on the side on where to go with this one, believing LSU will win this game. It is a big number, close to 2 touchdowns for the Tigers, but is it big enough?
Yeah, Rob, it opens at 11. It's up to 13.5. I think anything under 14, you've just got to lay the points here because – I don't think anybody rationally can say Oklahoma's going to win this game. And, will they be able to keep it within 2 touchdowns? We'll see, but I'm laying the points here. LSU 11-4, their last 15 against the number on the board. I'd be shocked if they score less than 40 points against this Oklahoma defense. So I've got to lay the 13.5. I know the public is all over it. but I'm going to play with the public here. I'm going to take LSU.
Yeah, and LSU, as we mentioned earlier, 4 of their last 6 against top 10 opponents, they have scored more than 40 points. And last one, they went under, but that was against Georgia where they scored 37. So very close to that 40 total. Ohio State, Clemson, I think Dabo's probably upset that they're actually favored because he enjoys playing the underdog card, although Ryan Day seems to be doing that as well. So a couple of underdogs going at it this week with Ohio State and Clemson, and it should be a heck of a football game, maybe the best matchup we've seen since the playoff has started.
Well, I've said for the majority of the year that I believe Clemson's the best team in college football. I mean, it's a team that just doesn't lose. Now, have they been tested? No. They've been 24.5-point favorites or more in 12 of the 13 games this year, and at least favored by 16.5 in all their games. So now they open as a 1-point favorite. It's kind of trickled up to 2, but Dabo 9-1 against the number his last 10 postseason games. A little more public money on Clemson, but I'm going to lay the 2. I'm going to play the favorite here as well. I think we're heading for an all-Tiger showdown, but I'll take Clemson -2.
Interesting. The Memphis Tigers taking on Penn State in the Cotton Bowl. We're all excited here in Memphis, and I think it's good for the Memphis Tigers that Ryan Silverfield named the permanent head coach, so they have some continuity going into this game and have that familiar voice and a guy that's going to be leading the team into the future. But they're facing a different test this week with Penn State. And I guess the question this time of year always is, how much does Penn State want it? How much are they putting into this with this matchup against an opponent from the American Athletic Conference? Penn State does come in as a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, and Memphis, obviously, you guys have seen them a ton. It's a really good team, 12-1. They're 6-4 against the number this year. The interesting thing about this, game opens at 7.5. Now Penn State's a 7-point favorite. The first time Memphis has been a dog all year. They are 0-4 against their number, their last 4 bowl games, not only against the number but also straight up. But I think Memphis will hang around. I think there'll be some points scored in this one. I'm catching a full touchdown. I'll take Memphis. I'll take the dog here.
All right, going with the Tigers in the Cotton Bowl plus the 7 points. Michigan, Alabama. Who wants it more? And Alabama losing a couple of big-time players on their defense, a defense that was a little leaky this year.
Yeah, and I just don't know leadership-wise what you've got in the locker room. And you're right, Rob, who wants it more? And I think it's a more important game for Jim Harbaugh because this guy just can't beat top 10 teams, and now he's got an opportunity, or at least close to a top 10 team in Alabama. Michigan's covered 5 of their last 6 this year, and you look at Nick Saban, hard to believe, but just 3-7 in his last 10 against the number in bowl games. I'm going to play Michigan here. If Alabama wants to go out and destroy Michigan, I think they will. I don't see the motivation right now. So I'm going to take Michigan plus the points to keep this one interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And Alabama, with those losses, too, certainly could be a tough bowl game for them. Baylor and Georgia. Georgia having trouble scoring. Georgia's defense is fantastic. What Matt Rule has done at Baylor has been nothing short of spectacular. I find it interesting because I feel in the past we've seen Georgia teams not really care about the bowl, like last year when they played Texas. So maybe that changes this year, but I believe Baylor's going to be ready to play.
Well, good coaches win, great coaches cover. We've said it before. Matt Rule 13-5 his last 18 against the number. This thing opens Georgia 8.5. It's dipped all the way down to 6.5. You really don't know which Bulldogs are going to play. They could have multiple guys sitting out for this bowl game. I do think Texas was kind of a wake-up last year in the Sugar Bowl. And I think Kirby's saying the right things. And I think Kirby does have his guys motivated coming into this game. Before the Sugar Bowl loss last year to Texas, Kirby had covered 5 straight postseason games. I'm actually going to play the Dogs here. I'm gonna lay the 6.5, and I'll take Georgia.
Going with the Georgia Bulldogs. NFL, Lance, boy, I don't remember more hype and more excitement and more drama for a matchup of 7-7 teams than we saw with the big Dallas-Philadelphia matchup over the weekend, which turned out to be just a thriller.
Yeah, fortunately, I had the Eagles. That was my big game yesterday, plus the 2 points. So we got home. They were trying to give Dallas every opportunity to stay in that game. But I agree with you. I mean, 2 really, really average teams at 7-7 and completely overhyped. I mean, one of those teams, more than likely Philadelphia now, will host a postseason game, but it won't matter. They won't be around long.
No, they won't at all. What do you like? It's a tough week in the NFL because you might have some teams resting guys too.
Yeah, you don't know who's cashing in and who's not. I'll tell you a team, though, that I think is playing for next season a little bit because I think they found their quarterback in Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos. He's 3-1 as a starting quarterback. He's got a live arm. never really believed that Drew Lock coming out of Missouri would be a franchise quarterback, but I think John Elway believes right now, and Vic Fangio's trying to close things out in season 1 strong against the Oakland Raiders. They're laying 4. I'll take the Denver Broncos and Drew Lock playing good once again at home. Denver -4, the play I like.
Sounds great. Lance'sLock.com is where folks can get picks from you. And this time of year, with all the bowl games coming up this weekend and on New Year's Day, great time to join.
Yeah, still a great stocking stuffer, fellas. I mean, it's one of those you can get up to the last minute. All you got to do is go online, Lance'sLock.com, all major credit cards, PayPal. It's a month-to-month thing. It's $90 a month, $3 a day, really simple. We give you everything. From the NFL to all the bowl games to college basketball to the NBA. I mean, as we're talking today, we've got 5 plays up. But we give you a free play every day, really transparent. You can see everything right there in front of you. But $90 a month, only $3 a day. Go to Lance'sLock.com.
Lance, always a pleasure, man. Have a happy New Year. We'll talk next week about the College Football Championship.
Sounds great. Talk to you guys then.
Thanks, man. Lance Taylor joining us from WJOX in Birmingham. Yeah, we're coming down the stretch here on the NFL season. We'll have a lot more NFL next week as well when we're narrowing down to the College Football Championship. A couple bowl games will still be left, and we'll get into some NFL as well as we'll take you all the way through the Super Bowl here on the Odds Couple. Cotton Bowl this week, Memphis, Penn State. I'm with you. I'm a little nervous about the Tigers this week.
Also, this is just the classic, like, We want all that smoke. Well, you're gonna get it.
Yeah,
you're gonna get right in your face.
Yeah,
we'll see if you can get through it without coughing like you. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they're gonna get the smoke. They're gonna play a big team that's got big dudes and speed and everything that you could want, and they're doing it without Norvell and his play calling and all the stuff he brought to the table. So it's a good test for Ryan Silverfield. That's his name, right?
Yes,
yeah,
correct. That is correct.
It's a good test for him because you got to open big, and I just worry for them. Like, it's been such a great magical season for them, and now this is how you got to end it. And even if they get blown out, I think people are going to be like, all right, well, we had a good run. We played Penn State and da-da-da. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, Penn State favored by 7, total at 60.5. Ryan Silverfield, head coach of the Memphis Tigers, talking about the Cotton Bowl.
This is for our community. This is for all the former players, all the Tigers. They've put so much work and effort into this program. And to be able to put it on a showcase like the Cotton Bowl on a national stage, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better way to end the season. And so let's ignore all the other things that are occurring and let's focus on what a wonderful opportunity for all of us. I mean, I'm so excited for our players. I know they'll be fired up to get to Dallas and everything that comes along with the Cotton Bowl. What a wonderful bowl it is to showcase us. But to be able to represent the city of Memphis, the 901, the university, I mean, our kids will be so excited, and really, I'm right here. I'm about to go call practice up this afternoon. Let's get going. So we'll be ready.
Be ready. Memphis over in 6 of their last 9 games. Last 3, however, have gone under. Penn State's gone under in 7 of their last 10 as well. So maybe the under the 60.5. Memphis 5-24 in their last 29 against Power 5 schools, but they have won 5 of their last 10. They've lost 14 of 27 away. 6-20 straight up their last 26 against top 25 opponents, but they have won the last 3, 2 of those against Cincinnati in their last 2 games. 11-3 straight up in NFL stadiums.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Also, they've won 8 of their last 10 following a bye week. Penn State, meanwhile, when they have been favored against ranked opponents, the last 2 times they've been favored against ranked opponents, they have failed to cover either one of them. Head-to-head, this is the first all-time matchup between these 2 teams. One SEC matchup coming up before the weekend. Texas A&M, a 7-point favorite over Oklahoma State, total at 53.5. That is the Texas Bowl. A&M, Jimbo Fisher, 18-8 against the spread at A&M. They're 29-19 their last 48 games away, although they have lost their last 2. 11-3 straight up their last 14 on a neutral site. They've won 34 of their last 40 against non-conference opponents. They've covered 9 of the last 12 against non-conference opponents and 6 of the last 7. They've lost 5 straight against top 25 opponents, but they have won 6 of their last 8 against non-conference top 25 opponents, losing the last 1. Oklahoma State 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Head-to-head, 6 of the last 8 between these 2 teams have gone over, and that total at 53.5. We'll take a break here on the Odds Couple. When we come back, we'll wrap things up, including our picks, and we'll get John's picks as well. It's the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
The voice, the hits, the tour. The wait is over. Celine Dion, Courage World Tour. February 9th, FedEx Forum.
The first North American tour in over a decade. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Celine Dion. Produced by Concerts West. Get tickets now.
Having sold more than 100 million records worldwide, the iconic Cher returns. Here We Go Again Tour 2020, performing hits spanning her entire career. FedEx Forum, March 16th. Featuring special guests Nile Rodgers and Chic. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. For more, visit Cher.com.
Grizz Nation, tip off the new year at the Grizz Bash, a Grizz-style game night featuring cocktails, games, and more. Thursday, January 9th at FedEx Forum. Battle Jaren Jackson Jr. in the ping pong tournament, sink a putt with John Morant, or just enjoy all the festivities, including live music, great food, and drinks, plus participate in other classic games with Grizzlies players like Mario Kart, Cornhole, and more. It's game on as you sip and play your way around FedEx Forum. Tickets start at $75, and all the proceeds support the life-saving work at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. For more details, visit Grizzlies.com today.
Art, sound, and sensory overload. Tool Live. Friday, January 31st, FedEx Forum. The new album, Fear Inoculum, out now. Tool. Get your tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Tool, presented by Live Nation.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
It's time, Memphis. Join Jaren Jackson Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, and your Memphis Grizzlies for a Hardwood Classics night this Sunday at 7 o'clock as they play host to the Charlotte Hornets. Fans will want to arrive early. First 5,000 will receive a retro fanny pack. Get Memphis. Get your tickets today to see your next-gen Grizz by calling 901-888-HOOP or clicking Grizzlies.com. Welcome back to the Odds Couple, Bowl Week number 2 here as we get you set for all the action coming up this week, including our NFL pick that we'll have coming up here in a little bit as well. And we'll have our picks for the bowl action. We got a bowl game right here in our backyard as the AutoZone Liberty Bowl being played here in Memphis once again. It'll be the Kansas State Wildcats taking on the Midshipmen of Navy. Navy coming in as a 2-point favorite in this ball game. Again, or 2.5-point favorite over Kansas State. Kansas State's head coach is Chris Kleiman, and Chris Kleiman talked about facing that tough Navy offense.
This is foreign territory, from what I understand, talking to Coach Bratton, Coach Klein and stuff. Boy, we haven't faced this in a long time here. And so I'm fortunate Van Malone and Buddy Wyatt were at SMU. And those guys face Navy every year. So we have enough familiarity on our staff. But that's great. What we know is great, but it doesn't matter if you don't know it as a player. And so we've just had to go slow, easy steps. That's why it's so important. Last weekend we got a little bit of work in, and this finals week, I know these kids have a lot on their plate, and we're not out there very long from a practice standpoint, but we have to get a lot of stuff done this week because it is very challenging, and if you're not right with everybody's responsibility and eyes and reads, you guys saw it as well as I do. The quarterback's going to run for 400, and so it's a big challenge.
Unfortunate for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl not to have an SEC team in the game this year, but Navy is a good alternative because of the crowd that Navy will bring and the officers who will be here in attendance for it, so that'll be fun. And they're a quirky team to watch.
Yeah. Is Chris Kleiman related to Zach?
I don't know. We'll have to go downstairs and ask.
The Navy, also, for what it's worth, the Navy recruiting headquarters is in Millington, right up the road from here. The one good thing I would say for Kansas State is they've had a month to get ready for this, right? It's not like these other teams. Like Georgia used to play Georgia Tech every year, and they would schedule Georgia Southern the week before just so they could play an option team to get used to it. They've had plenty of time to get ready for this, and it's still going to be different and weird for them to have to play an option team. But I feel like with all those option teams, once you get ahead of them, if you can get ahead, then
playing with the lead is important.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, Navy is 7-1 against the spread as a favorite. Kansas State 12-4 against the number following a conference game. Other SEC action this weekend: Mississippi State taking on Louisville Monday in the Music City Bowl. Mississippi State is a 4-point favorite. They've won 26 of their last 30 against non-conference opponents. However, 0-6 against the spread when they're away from home against winning teams. Although Louisville's 4-12 against the spread as a dog. They're not very good against the number either. Throw that game out. Virginia, Florida in the Orange Bowl on Monday. Florida, a 14-point favorite. They've won 4 of their last 7 against top 25 opponents. 30-16 against the spread away from home following a bye week. Also 10-2 against the spread after they've had 2 or more consecutive wins. Head-to-head, Florida won the last matchup in 1959. 55-10 over Virginia on October 3rd of 1959. Kentucky and Virginia Tech. The Hokies are a 3-point favorite in the Belk Bowl on Tuesday. Kentucky 16-10 against the spread as a dog. Head-to-head, Kentucky's won 8 of the last 11 matchups between these two teams, although they haven't played since 1987. Michigan and Alabama. Alabama 7-point favorite in the Citrus Bowl. That is on Wednesday. Alabama's last 5 losses have come to Tigers. They won't have to worry about that this week, taking on the Wolverines.
Yeah,
well, that's a good one. They've won 63 of their last 68 games, 59-7 against non-conference opponents under Saban, 28-5 straight up against top 25 opponents. They have lost their last 2, however. Michigan's covered 5 of their last 6 games. Yes?
I was just saying, for what it's worth, it's been tough for Alabama this year. I don't know if you saw, they also this week got a commitment from the number 1 dual-threat quarterback in the country.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad something good could happen.
Finally it got a break to go their way.
Minnesota and Auburn. Auburn a 7.5-point favorite in the Outback Bowl on Wednesday. Auburn 12-5 against the spread their last 17 games. They have lost 3 of their last 4 against top 25 opponents. They've also lost 3 of their last 4 when ranked against ranked opponents. These two teams have never met. And Baylor taking on Georgia in the Sugar Bowl on Wednesday. Georgia a touchdown favorite over the Baylor Bears. Georgia, 10 of their last 12 have gone under, including 7 of their last 8. They're just 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games, but they are 16-6 against the spread, taking on winning teams, and 78-13 straight up against non-conference opponents. Baylor 14-5 against the spread when they have played winning teams.
Jake Fromm might be playing for his NFL career in this game,
or whether or not he's going to go to the.
I think that's what this one is.
It's going to be very interesting. Time for our picks. We'll start with Fish's 5 this week. I'm reluctantly taking Penn State. I just think this is a big step up for the Memphis Tigers, and I'm going to go with Penn State minus the 7. Penn State's a really good football team. I'm going with the Nittany Lions minus the 7. I love LSU. I think they win it. I think they score over 40. They win it maybe by 20. Ohio State, Clemson. I'm going with Ohio State just because I think they're the better overall team, and when it's virtually a pick 'em. It's Clemson minus 2, but I'll go with the Buckeyes. I think both sides of the ball, Ohio State's just a little bit better than Clemson is this year. Wouldn't surprise me, though, if Clemson went out and continued to win, because that's what they've done for the last 2 years. And I'm going with Navy minus the 2.5 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl because of their quirky offense, and I'll go ahead and take Notre Dame minus 3.5 in their bowl game as well. How about Lang's locks?
I'm with you on most of these. I got Penn State over Memphis. Same reason. I think LSU, Ohio State are just too much. Both of them are just too much offensively for who they're going up against. I'm going to take K-State. Just I feel like they've had enough time to get ready for this Navy offense, and I'll take Notre Dame against Iowa State. I know Vinnie Verno is going with Iowa. I don't like either of those Iowa teams, Iowa or Iowa State. I've just all season I couldn't really get a grip on them, and I'll stick with Notre Dame.
All right. Those picks that we just made, you can catch those on the Grind City Media Pick'em panel. We picked
on that panel?
all of the bowl games. All of them.
All of them.
We've picked all of the bowl games, and it's
Extravaganza.
everyone from the Grind City Media family, like John Roser, Devin Walker, Chris Vernon, Eric Hasseltine, Michael Wallace, myself, Lang, Megan Triplett.
Wow.
So, yeah, those picks, the second wave of those picks will be unleashed tomorrow. You'll be able to find those on Twitter at Grind City Media. One other bowl game that we want to pick off the grid, I'm going Florida Gators over Virginia. I think Dan Mullen is good in this spot as far as getting the team ready to play. I don't think that much of Virginia, to be honest with you, and I like Florida given the 2 touchdowns. That game being played in the state of Florida at the Orange Bowl. Yeah. I think Florida comes out and buries Virginia.
I think so, too.
Yeah. And And you're going with USC. You're going against Vinnie Verno.
I like Slovis, and I think giving them a little time to prepare. Like I said, I don't like these Iowa teams, and like he said, Iowa, the games they lost, it was 13-10 or 10-12, or they can't score. So I think if USC, as bad as the Pac-12 has been, if they can score some points, they're going to win.
My NFL pick for this week, I can't believe I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys, but they're playing a pitiful team in Washington. It's 10.5 must win for Dallas. They're just that much better. And we've seen when Dallas can be good, like against the Rams a couple weeks ago. I'm just expecting Dallas to actually look good against Washington. And with Haskins being hurt too, who knows what that situation is going to be. Said he was fine to come back into the game, but they didn't allow him to come back in the game. So what will Washington be able to bring? But Dallas playing for everything, including their coach's job. I'll take the Cowboys. Big number, 10.5.
Yeah, the Ravens, I'm sticking with them, even though Lamar's not playing. You know who is? RG3 starting quarterback this week. It's only a 2-point spread against the Steelers. I'm fine with them. I'll stick with them. They're rolling.
Roser, what you got this week?
In college, I'm going to go against the team that I bet on all season long, and that's Ohio State. I'm going to go with Clemson minus the 2. I don't know. I think Clemson's better. It's the fact I know they haven't really played anybody, but it's the fact they are murdering all of them. They're doing what they're supposed to do, which is you just kill them. But I think it'll probably be a close game for a little bit. I think Clemson's going to win the game by 2 touchdowns. In the NFL, I originally was going to go with the Redskins plus the 11 because I can see Dallas just mailing it in on Sunday. Whatever. We had our shot this past week against Philly, even though they still do have a chance because the Giants can beat the Eagles.
Yes, because Philly's not good.
Philly's not good. They can, and wait, they just played on Monday night in Philly a couple weeks ago, and the Giants were up 17-0 on them. The Giants can beat them. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go away from that. I'm gonna go with the team who just had their playoff hopes broken Saturday night, the Rams, when they lost to the 49ers. That eliminated them from playoff contention against a team who, they're not going to make the playoffs, but I think they're still playing for something, and they're trying to get better. They proved that with a win in Seattle yesterday. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals. I saw it at 7. Right now, you can get the Cardinals plus 7.5 at the Rams. Jalen Ramsey throwing Eric Weddle under the bus after the game. It just – I don't know if the Rams are going to show up for that game next Sunday. It feels like they were eliminated from playoff contention. The Cardinals, though, they're still playing, and
you had the Rams last week, and that was a big cover, getting a lot of points and winning big over Seattle last week. So nice pick there, Johnny Roser. All right, that's going to do it for us here today on the Odds Couple. You're not going to be here next week.
Well, being an NFL heavy show, I thought we'd let Mr. NFL sit in the big chair.
That loss that my Niners had to your Falcons, Lang, is really killing me because that win yesterday that the Cardinals had in Seattle, if we would have just taken care of the Falcons, we win that game against the Rams Saturday like we did. Next Sunday night in Seattle does not matter for us.
Well, we know
we've got it. We have the 1 seed clinched. We've got home field through the playoffs clinched. We've got the division clinched. But instead, we blew the game to the Falcons, and now we have to go to Seattle. I'm not going to be nervous at all for that game. Not at all.
Especially when we know how good Kyle Shanahan is down the stretch in the big games.
Well, especially since, the 49ers, we never beat the freaking Seahawks.
That's right. We'll talk next week on the Odds Couple. Happy New Year, everyone. And we'll talk about the college football championship next week.
And Lang Whitaker.